story of the day, the Ray Tenzing trial. The jury has ended deliberations today without a verdict. The former UC cop is charged with murder and voluntary manslaughter in the fatal shooting of unarmed driver Sam DuBose. Brad Johansen is live at the Hamilton County Courthouse with how the community is responding to the testimony. Brad, what are you hearing?
Paula, 4 hours of deliberations today. They got the case at noon, stopped at 4 o'clock. Jury now sequestered for the evening in the hotel. Deliberations will again begin at 8 a.m. Now, one way to get a feel for what the community is talking about, you listen to Lincoln Ware on Praise 1230 and try and figure out exactly what the community is saying. And we went over to listen to Lincoln and some of his callers today. They have definite opinions on Ray Tenzing. The jury was listening to the lawyers deliver the closing arguments. Lincoln was listening to the callers sound off. Some think that he was charged with the wrong crime. Others are concerned about demonstrations that may happen once the verdict is returned.
I just have this sneaking suspicion that he's going to be found not guilty.
Okay.
Or maybe manslaughter. Mm-hmm. That's the second, the least of the two things that he was charged with.
And then if he's found guilty, he'll get a short, light sentence, you think?
Probably. They won't be as hard on him as they would an ordinary person.
I do think there's going to be obviously some demonstrations, rallies, and things.
I mean, you have Black Lives Matter out there. They'll be protesting, but I don't think
it rises to what we saw in 2001.
So the closing arguments came this morning. Joining us now, Local 12's legal analyst Hal Arenstein joins us now. He's tougher than I am because he's going without the overcoat here in the chill as the sun has set. Your reaction to closing arguments today?
I thought both sides leaned heavily on their themes. Stu Matthews went back to this is a police officer who's just doing his duty. He's doing what he's been told to do, and everything he did, he was justified in doing. Joe, on the other hand, harkened back to his opening statement in which he did the dichotomy of he told us this, but that was false. He told us this, that was false. And there were the 6 or 7 major lies that Joe thought he was able to establish through use of the videotape.
Prosecutor stronger today then?
I thought the prosecutor did a very nice job, but I also thought Stu did a good job because he brought out the instruction that the jury has to weigh in determining whether Tenzing acted justifiably, and I thought he did a very good job of doing that. But their biggest problem is the fact that Tenzing, if the jury believes it, is the one who really initiated all of these problems. And if he did, that's going to be a real problem for Tenzing.
We are hearing from a lot of the callers, a lot of people on the street that say it's very difficult to convict a police officer. Is there anticipation of what a verdict will be tomorrow?
It's going to be difficult to do that, and I agree it is hard. One of the things I was surprised by is that the state did not ask for what's called an imperfect self-defense instruction. And that's an instruction in which you say, oh, I believe I was justified, but the justification is really unreasonable, and that would automatically have reduced it to manslaughter. And the government didn't do that, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
Always just a guess, but would you anticipate a verdict tomorrow?
I would think so. Friday's a holiday. I would think that people are not going to want to wait a 3-day weekend. I don't think Jim Neal's going to want to bring sheriffs in on a day that a holiday exists and have to guard the courthouse in the event something bad happens and we have community issues. So I would suspect we'll have a verdict sometime tomorrow.
Hal Arenstein, thanks very much. They will be back at it at 8 o'clock tomorrow. St. Francis Seraph School had a half day. They have now canceled school for the day in anticipation of a verdict tomorrow. Live from the courthouse. We'll have more at 6 o'clock. For now, I'll send it back to you, Paula.
All right. Thank you, Brad.